The views expressed on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Recovery Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this episode should not be taken as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guests. KHLT and Take 12 Recovery Radio are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Well, greetings, my friends. I am the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and this is the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. And now, here are your Came to Believe Recovery podcasting broadcasters to launch us forth on this week's show. Well, welcome one and all to another fine episode of the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Monty Man, recovered alcoholic. And, of course, our other one is the CEO of Came to Believe Recovery, Mr. Tom Williams.
All right. Well, let's see. Wait. Yeah, it is good morning and good afternoon, I guess, depending on who you are and where you're listening to us.
And when. Yeah.
And when.
This should be an easy one. That should be easy, right?
That was Johnny Carson show.
Absolutely. Yay, you got it.
Yeah. Last week I didn't get it. It was something dumb that nobody would get, but Monty threw a wrench.
It was Peter Gunn theme last week.
Oh, yeah. I never heard of it. Right. But that was Johnny Carson. Yeah. That was
Johnny Carson. Back when comedy was comedy and wasn't political, right?
I watched a couple of those. Reruns, sometimes you see them. And when people like Robin Williams was on really early in his career and others, Rodney Dangerfield goes on that. And like Don Rickles is so funny.
Oh my gosh.
And just hilarious, And,
I know.
Yeah.
But amazing stuff.
We have a couple things to whine about today, Monty.
Yes, we do. Before we do, I'll just give the listeners a teaser really quick. So the topic today is when you feel like giving up. Do you surrender? Do you submit? Is there a difference? We're going to talk about that. So let's complain.
and we're going to say that we're whiners right now and complainers. But for the moment, of course, Monty and I think we're completely legitimate, and the whole world should change immediately upon our words.
Right.
And we hope that the powers to be to hear everything we say, and starting tomorrow, it completely changes.
That's right.
That's our view, and the strength with which we will complain.
Yes. We often say we whine about things we're completely powerless over, but are we? Are we?
I used to say, if you don't complain, nobody knows there's a problem. You got to tell people.
But that's just stupid.
What? I have complained in places and said, listen to so-and-so. It's not you. I know you didn't make this rule up. But if I don't whine about it to you and cause your day to be stressed, you won't tell your boss. These people keep whining and nothing will get done.
I tell my wife, though, she says, don't say anything. I go, the reason they're getting away with it is because no one says anything. I'm saying something.
Right. And I just make sure it's not personal to you, but it's about the issue. And you're the face I'm looking at, so you got to hear it.
Yep. So what do you got? What's the thing that you want to whine about?
So I have the same thing you have, but I'll let you do that one. Mine is inability. Well, this is yours too, but we went into another thing, to talk to anyone on the phone. Inability with services, vendors, airlines, hotels, anything that you're calling for customer service, that you're able to get anybody on the phone. Billing, your electrical bill, your medical insurance. These organizations have gone as far, and I was saying to Monty, United went as far as removing the phone number off the website. So while it was buried in about 18 clicks to try to find it,
right,
they now have removed it. There is no phone number on the app on my phone. Now, if somebody wants to correct me, and send an email and say they know where it is. But I'm on that United app all the time. And they basically have removed the option to talk to a representative. And I'm pretty tech savvy and I can do a chat, but almost every time, if I need to talk to someone, it's because the chat probably won't work. I need to talk to somebody. It's complicated. It's got an exception to it. It's
a lot more detail.
Yeah. And, like an email, sometimes you got to pick up the phone. You can't, and emotion or the urgency gets lost in a chat, and it sends generic answers back to you. Very frustrating. I think it should be a law that you hit 0 and you get a live person. That's all I think. Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Yesterday I spent a good part of the day, and it's still this morning, and I got to get back to him, with a program that I use that is a major part of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Network. And when you're doing a show, when you're doing a podcast, that kind of thing, you have listeners that depend, they know when it's going to be posted. You just can't shut down. It's just like any broadcasting thing, you just don't shut down. You got to make sure you keep going because you've got people depending on you, especially when we're talking about things like recovery and health and that kind of stuff. And so it was very frustrating. But the one that gets me, that just drives me absolutely Looney Tunes, is the medical profession. When you go in, when you have a doctor's appointment and you get that notice that says, to confirm your doctor's appointment, please fill out, the following. And it's like your updated med list, and have you ever had cancer? Are you a former smoker? And if you are, when did you quit? And blah, blah, blah. So you fill it out like good little boys and girls, and you hit the enter key on your keyboard, and there you go. And you would think that once you got to the doctor's office, you've been pre-checked in, right? Oh, no. The same forms on a clipboard with a pen handed to you. And I say to her every time, I did this online yesterday. I know, but we need it done again. Why? Did it not go through? No, it went through. I don't understand it. And then you give it to them, and then you get back. The nurse takes you back to the back, and she's got the same list again, or the same question. So everything's the same with your med list? Yes.
I think some of it is, one of the reasons I've heard for some things is that they want to see consistency and make sure you're answering the questions the same way each time because it's medical stuff. I'm like, so you don't believe me? Why would I lie to you? I'm your doctor. You're my doctor. I don't know. Why would I lie to you? But here's my other thing is I fill out that paper.
Yeah.
Where does it go?
Yeah. Where does
do you guys
go?
enter that in? Or so if from a year ago, and can I tell you, find an appointment from a year ago, can you pull up the sheet I filled out a year ago? Is it scanned in somewhere in my file? So what's the purpose of it? Right. The doctor didn't look at it because when I walked in the room, that went on the side.
Yeah.
Nobody looked at it.
Yeah.
So what, they're going to show me, oh no, we entered that all in and then we have it as a base of record. I go, all right. But didn't I fill that out online? Like you said, didn't I do that?
I know.
Very frustrating.
And with AI, the way AI is, you would think they could just take that paper you did and just scan it, and the AI would go, "Oh, this is a duplicate. Everything's the same," and you wouldn't have to worry about it. You would think.
But boy, when you can't get somebody on the phone and you hit 0, representative, and they are pushing us to chat with these AI bots. All these organizations, and I gotta admit, some of them are pretty good, but almost always, I've never had, when I've needed to call, it was always beyond the chatbot. And I'm just like, no, this question I need to talk to someone. Can't get them on the phone. Try to call Amazon. There is no one to talk. I don't even think they have a call.
Yeah, and so with the AI thing with tech, it's always that they'll answer you, but then they'll give you click on this link and follow the instructions. I did that and it didn't work.
How,
And then
how-
it comes back, click on this link and follow the instructions. Give me the same answer.
right. How about this? I call United. They recognize my phone number. Hi,
Yeah.
Thomas. Welcome back. So they
Welcome.
know who I am. And then they'll say, is this about your upcoming trip to Orlando? So they know I have a trip.
Yeah.
And you say, no, blah, blah, blah. No, speak to a representative, speak to a representative. And the guy gets on and goes, can I have your mileage plus number so I can look up your account? I'm like, but
It's right in front of you.
aren't you looking at it? I mean, the computer knew who I was and that I had a trip. And I'm like, really? I would need to look behind the scenes, but we are not the only ones frustrated by this. I'd
No,
love
and-
to hear from somebody who says that they can navigate everything without ever having to talk to anybody. I'd love to. Who does that?
And they wonder why a man drinks.
Well,
Well, we know why we don't anymore.
right. I mean, we just
so
come
what's
on
that all
here
cons-
and whine about it because we figure if enough people listen,
Yeah.
maybe somebody
Well,
will
and
make a
that's just
call.
it. We talked about that before. You know, when people say, well, I don't say anything, I don't want to bother them. That's why these organizations, these people get away with this stuff is no one will stand up to them. No, not enough people will say no. So there's a restaurant that we like to go to. The food is really good, but it's always cold. So I always tell them, hey, listen, it's really tacky for me to send this back and for you to nuke it. That's tacky. But I know that's what you're going to do. At least bring it to me hot the first time.
Yeah.
So, so every time I tell them, it always comes in cold. It's really good food, but it's just not cold. It's just cold. Can you make sure it's hot? Right? And Marcia's like, yeah, don't say anything. You're going to say it again. Well, you know why they get away with it? Because nobody says anything.
Yeah.
So we need to rise up, brother.
Rise up. Well, I'm going to go to Newark Airport Monday, and I'm going to go find the United, somebody that looks important,
Yeah.
and say, can I tell you something that I'm not happy with as a platinum blah, 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 that I can't, that you've removed the phone number, that there's no way to reach a customer service rep on your app anymore. And I just don't, I think that's okay. Now they're going to say, go on the app and enter it into, I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Right.
Yeah, I can play on
Enter it into the keyboard and enter your complaint.
that. Oh man.
All right.
man.
Well, whatever.
Hey, listen, we do have a mailbox.
Okay.
And then after we do the mailbox, open the mailbox, I'll tell you what's coming up, and then we'll get to our topic. So it is time to stop whining for the moment and open up the Came to Believe Recovery mailbox.
You've got mail.
All right.
Mail in the mailbag, so open it now. We want to read our
We welcome your emails, your comments on social media, TikTok, whatever. Our email address is Monty at cametobelieverecovery.org, and that's Monty with a Y. All right. Not Jason Barrett says, one of the first things I was taught was don't believe everything you think. He said this in response to something I said when I said, I think, and then I said it again because I was thinking, I think that I'm not sure that I buy the phenomenon of craving doesn't happen with non-alcoholics. I said something to the effect that I think we talk about the obsession of the mind and the allergy of the body, and that the allergy of the body, in the doctor's opinion, talks about it never happens in the normal temperate drinker. And I think they're right about the allergy, but I think a normal temperate drinker can probably drink a couple of shots and it can be so euphoric that they want more than they probably should take. I don't think you have to be an alcoholic to experience that. So I said that, and he responded with, don't believe everything you think. And then Adam B said, I think, who cares what you think? I love it when I get responses like that. Skittles the Wonder Dog says, why do people say the only requirement is the desire to quit? And why did they say take what you want and leave the rest? So do you want to answer that? Why do people say the only requirement is the desire to quit?
Well, that's an awful low bar.
Isn't it?
Yeah, when they come in the room, and I mean that would intimate that you're ready to take action, I would imagine.
Mhm.
So if you walk in the room and all you do, you just have to have a desire to quit, and somebody says, all right, but I don't have to quit, or I don't really have to do anything. Just to be in this room, I have to say, yeah, I have a desire to quit someday. I think it's a really low bar, and it's misleading. And I would never say it. I mean, that's the AA thing. That's the qualifier. So, I mean, if I was in that room and AA and under the whatever traditions, you'd say it. But I might qualify it. If you're ready, if you have a desire to stop, it must mean you have a desire to do something about it.
You
know?
would think.
Yeah.
You would think. So my question is,
What was the
I
other
have a
one?
desire to quit drinking. I would be like, do you?
Yeah, right. Well, that's the other thing, right? Do you? What's
The other one is, why do people say take what you want, leave the rest?
Oh, that's just complete
Nonsense.
nonsense, right? And I'm not going to say woke, but it's complete new anything goes nonsense. The same people that say you can have any kind of higher power, take what you want and leave the rest. That's not part of what Alcoholics Anonymous is.
No.
It says if you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then follow these directions.
Right.
Not
Whether you want to or not,
Right.
do it.
And it says, here's the program we suggest. They don't suggest the steps individually. They just suggested the program, which is all 12.
Yes, which is all 12.
So
It's not a program of suggestions. It's a suggested program.
Right.
Clarity.
If somebody says to you guys out there in recovery, take what you want and leave the rest, go to another meeting.
Yeah, run.
It's
Yeah,
not the answer. I mean, that's our whole life was take what we want and leave the rest, right?
Yeah.
Where'd
And
that
so
get you?
I've heard more that it was take what you need and leave the rest. He says, why do people say that? I think the reason they say it is in response to people that have objections about certain things. And so they'll respond by saying, that's okay. Just take what you need, leave the rest, disregard the rest. Well, here's the thing. When you tell somebody who's new that, first of all, when you're new, I'm sorry, you don't know what you need.
Right.
You think you do, and you might be right about some of it, but really, how accurate are you in your clouded thinking when you first come in, right? You really don't know. So that's a really dangerous thing to tell somebody. Yeah. I mean, it's like, wait, if you buy a car and the guy at the dealership says, hey, listen, yeah, if you want to do an oil change, every so many miles, that's fine. But if you don't really want to, that's cool too. And you know what? You don't have to get gas to make the car go. But if you want to, you can, it's all up to you. And come on, give me a break.
Nonsense.
So let's see. Peter F. sent this email. Like, you guys talk about relapse. Oh, you guys talked about relapses on your last show. I relapsed after 2 years of abstinence, not recovery, mind you. I refused to beat myself up and feel condemnation from my own ego. Rather, I spoke with a spiritual advisor who lived the steps every day and moved on. I never looked back and never felt guilt, only acceptance from God and many in the fellowship I attend. Do you think I should have felt some guilt? Some say I was callous to my actions. Huh.
Well, I was going to say good for you.
Me too.
Yeah.
The guy sees where he went sideways. He got back on the horse. He went straight forward, and he didn't look back. What is wrong with that?
Yeah, he had remorse. He did what he was supposed to do. Yeah, no, I don't think you need to have guilt. I think that you're carrying. That's a terrible thing. Guilt is, if you've made the amends, why do you have guilt? You shouldn't have any guilt. And you
Yeah.
know you've made the corrective action. No, good for you. Onward.
Yeah, and guilt's not the same as conviction. If you feel
Right.
conviction, I need to change the direction I'm going, blah, 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 but you're not thrashing yourself.
Onward.
Yeah,
Shake it
onward.
off, brother. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you, Peter. And then I said something. Oh, I know what it was. It was the statement I made. I made a statement about a guy in the rooms that got really upset when people would use the term addict in an AA meeting instead of alcoholic.
Oh, right.
And I asked him, I said, hey, brother, is alcoholism, is that an addiction? Can you be addicted to that? Yeah, of course. Okay, because alcohol's what? It's a drug, right? Yes, it's a drug. So then if you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, right? And he got upset. He was like, oh, I didn't know how to answer that. And this guy said, isn't crosstalk the best? Always kept me on the right path. That was Mickey 1850. I need to correct myself there. I didn't actually say that to him in the meeting. That would have been inappropriate to call him out in the middle of the meeting and say that. So no, I didn't crosstalk him. And then, Imagine Art says, I've seen it happen in NA as well, talking about people saying they're addicts or alcoholics in different meetings. Some of the guys there don't like to hear the word sober. My position is that we're all on the same team, right? Let's not get loaded, team. That's good. Yeah. So, I mean, are we talking semantics here? We could get into a lot of trouble fighting over semantics. It's kind of unnecessary, I think. There you go. Got anything to add, Tom?
Yeah, close the bag.
No? All right. If you'd like to email us, email address one more time is monty@cametobelieverecovery.org. Yeah, let's close up the mailbag. Dun, da, da.
Mail, it means so much. A little piece of you just waiting to clutch.
You got mail.
All righty. Okay. Coming up, just give you a little teaser here. The topics coming up on the next show. This includes Monday's Take 12 Recovery Radio Show and Wednesday's Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. Topics: 12-step meeting addiction. That'll be on Monday's show. The Came to Believe, from the best of Came to Believe Recovery, the topic powerlessness and unmanageability. That'll be on the 13th. And then on Monday's show, Addiction in the World of Sports, my interview with sports anchor from KTVU Channel 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area, Mr. Mark Ibanez, multi-Emmy Award winner, and now retired from that position, talking about addiction in the world of sports, some enlightening stuff that you might want to check out. And then on the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast on the 20th, a deep dive into step 3. And the following Monday, alcohol in the church. Ooh. And then on the 27th on the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast, let's talk about making amends. So that's the stuff coming up for you guys, all available to you for fun and for free at take12radio.com. All right. The topic this week: when you feel like giving up, do you surrender? Do you submit to a process? What do you do? Is there a difference? And maybe right now, as you're listening to this podcast, you're in that place where you've had it. You just feel like giving up. You don't see any way to turn except for just to sit in your mess. Maybe that's you. I've been there. You been there, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
It's almost paralyzing.
It's not almost, at least it wasn't for
It
me.
is
It was
paralyzing.
completely paralyzing for me.
Yeah.
So we draw a line in the sand over things, and a lot of it is contextual and experiential. When you have no experience with the other side, it's fear-based, that you need to draw the line and fight for what you know. right, wrong, or different, and even think what's killing you, you have a hard time giving it up because you don't see what the other, without any experience with what the other side is like. It's hard.
Yeah.
So I think with that in mind, you're fighting against a effort. So when you're fighting against something, trying to, I guess, quote unquote, win, and then you decide I can't win anymore, you give up. Then you do surrender. You're like stopping the fight. Okay, you win, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so there is a moment, I think, when you do that. I really do think there's a difference with surrender. Surrender and submission, because after that, I'm submitting. If I'm going to adopt a way of life, I have to be sold on it, which means I surrender, I ain't doing it, and okay, I'm sold. Your way looks good, and now I'm on board with you. As opposed to surrendering to the enemy who puts you in a prison camp for the rest of your...
Yeah.
Because you still don't believe that side. You just surrendered the fight because you lost, right? There's a difference when you surrender. Surrender has that element of you lost, and that now there's somebody commanding you or imprisoning you or forcing you on your against your will, right? I mean, this is Tom talking, but you can read that surrender has all that
It
potential.
implies complete defeat.
Complete
It's like
defeat, right? Yeah.
Defeatism. It's like,
Yeah.
of course I failed. I mean,
Right.
look at who I am.
Right.
Oh my gosh. One of the things that it drives me crazy when I hear people say, well, you know how we are.
I know.
I mean, I've actually said that too. It's like, I don't know what to do with this. So that's my reasoning. Well, you know how I am.
So I certainly, and surrender in many definitions is a moment in time. You make a surrender, done. You can't keep surrendering. You surrender and then you submit. The submission, and this is just a line of thinking with this, guys. There's some semantics involved here, and you can continue surrendering. I would call it submitting, but potato, I guess. You surrender and then you submit. I've surrendered to this authority. All right, I give up the fight. I'm in. Now I hear about you. You tell me what it is. Okay, now I'm going to submit to this authority. I'm going to join the band. That I continue to do. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I looked this up and I like this. Surrender, it's almost like you collapse from exhaustion. You stop resisting because you can't continue. It's passive. Something happens to you. It's often tied to loss of control or loss of self. Submission, on the other hand, implies a conscious, deliberate choice. Once you have surrendered, you make a choice to submit. You decide to yield for a purpose, cooperation, harmony, strategy, trust, or growth. It's active, and instead of something happening to you, it's something you do. I really like that. You retain your identity even when yielding. And this is the metaphor that I found, and I love it. Surrender is dropping the oar because the river is too strong. Submission is choosing to row in the direction the river is already flowing.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh, we didn't do useless information that we need. I have a good one. So at some point,
Oh, yeah.
I
Go
have
ahead.
one of these. It's totally unrelated, but because I was going to say, well, stick a pin in that. We got to go back to it. So do you
Okay.
know where that stick a pin in it came from?
Is it a map thing?
No,
Oh, it's not. 'Cause I have, a vision of a pin and a map, and then,
no. Back
like-
in the, I guess it was in the 1700s here in the United States, in the slave populations down in the South, and it may have been in other groups that came over here that didn't speak English, right? They had no language and they also couldn't write. Within their own communities, there was healers and medical people. There were like healers within it, and they would be healing and working with somebody. And they would
Mhm.
make a doll of that person and they would put a
Oh.
pin in the place that was the last problem that they had.
Right.
So when they came 2 months later, go, what have you worked on? And there's a pin in their head, there's a pin in their thing. So it's like, stick a pin in it. We're going to remember. It's like a medical record.
Isn't
Ancient
that
medical records.
interesting? Because usually when people think of that, they think of voodoo or something. I'm
Well,
thinking of
Voodoo
in a
has
way,
a thing. You know,
but
I told
but also, I wonder if there's some history of acupuncture in there somewhere.
maybe, but that's
Isn't that a trip?
that's a trip. All
What
right,
have you
there's
been
your
working
uses. I thought you would love that.
That is really good.
I knew you would
Good
love that.
job.
As soon as I heard it, I said, "Oh, Monty would love that."
That is
Um,
that
so-
deserves a bell.
All right, back to surrender. Okay, here's what I found. Right, and this follows. Yeah, I didn't tell it to agree with me. You know,
Right.
surrender, because you can actually tell AI to make the case that makes your case.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Surrender is a heartfelt yielding of our will to God, okay? Yielding of our will to God. While submission is the conscious alignment of our actions with His authority
Oh.
and guidance. All right, there I go with
Yeah.
that. So it goes on, understanding surrender. Surrender involves releasing control, right? Attachments and pride, placing every aspect of life into God's hands with trust and faith. It's an internal, proactive act of faith. It surrender emphasizes the state of the heart. Submission, in contrast, after you've surrendered, I'm going to add, is the deliberate choice to align one's will and actions with God's authority. It's rooted in recognizing that, okay, I released control to you, but I recognize God's wisdom, goodness, and supreme authority, and it manifests in obedience. It's, I've decided that I actually want what you have, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in our steps, it's kind of like step 3 would certainly be the surrender. But step 7 is, the rest of them actually are this act of submission.
Submission.
Right.
What are you doing with it now?
Right. 4 says, let's decide, do you want this way of life? And if you do, then you're going to agree with the activities to do it. You're going to submit to God now. You're going to turn over the bad things and let God now use you in these good things. Do you surrender them again? I guess in the moment. But then you're saying a deliberate choice to align myself with the authority of God to lead me on the right side, which is our language.
I think it's interesting because when I work with somebody, if I'm using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, for instance, which, by the way, I will use that a lot when dealing with people that aren't addicts or alcoholics, but they're in trouble in one way or another, because it says alcohol, but that's just a symptom. It's the same problem. We have a God-shaped hole and we're trying to fill it with our own intellect instead of God, right? And that kind of stuff. But it's interesting because in the column method, which if any diagram needed to be redone in that book, that's the one I think. I just don't like it. But it's interesting to see what happens there. You know, there's the first column is the person's name, and then the second is what happened. After that, you're not allowed to talk about the other person at all. From that point on, so you surrender. I mean, you look at what happened. You know, Mr. Brown, his attention to my wife. Okay, stop. Now, how'd you deal with that? What are we going to do with that? So I surrender to the fact that I'm powerless over Mr. Brown's actions because he's made his own choices. What am I going to do with that? What set of instructions am I going to follow now? And that's the submission part, right? You know,
yeah,
I've admitted that I cannot get anywhere unless I drive there. Okay, I surrender to that fact. Now I'm going to turn the key and drive the car, or let God drive the car.
Right. And somebody said to me that this set of maps will get me there, and I'm gonna, because I trust him and I have this new thing, I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna willingly follow this map. I'm submitting to it.
And so if you're feeling like giving up, good.
Right.
Think about it this way. It's not defeatism. You're giving whatever part of you is causing problems, and you're giving it up. You're giving it up to him, right? You're releasing it, but it doesn't stop there, because if we're getting rid of our old spectacles, is that what they used to call them? Glasses, eyeglasses. We're going to need a new pair of glasses, to quote Chuck C. We're going to need a new pair of glasses. And what do we have to do? You know, we got to go in, we got to go to the eye doctor, we got to check out, you know, how we're seeing things, what's our vision like, we got to get the glasses, we got to wear them, and then we got to maintain them, we got to take care of them, we got to keep them clean, we got to, you know, that's all in the submission process. And doggone it, Tom, I think in the rooms of recovery, so often we have a lot of people willing to surrender, but not a whole lot of people willing to submit.
Yeah. I thought of a good. I'm 100% in agreement. I mean, and I think in their defense, they're not given anything to submit through. They're just told to surrender.
How.
Yeah, they don't know how, and nobody has said to them, and this is how. Here's how your life can be, and
Right.
here's this set of tools. If you'd like them and you want to, you work them or submit to them, the authority. But if
Yeah.
no one's ever told you, you don't know any different. You right?
Yeah, you just keep coming back wondering when the miracle will happen.
Right.
Just by sitting in the chair.
You ever hear that? Just keep coming back. Wait for the miracle.
Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle.
Right. It'll happen one day. Stay. Oh my God.
Just keep coming. It works if you work it. What works?
Right.
Well,
Sure,
those
to work
two
what?
up there, those on the wall. And then, you know, the person that doesn't want to be part of your solution just says, well, you need to get a sponsor. Well, why can't you be my sponsor? Well, maybe it's a good idea he's not.
Right. Let's say another submit is, let's say a sports team. You surrendered. Let's say you're in the draft or something, of college draft to the NFL or something. I mean, you surrendered, I guess, to be on the team. And okay, I'm going to be on this team. But to be effective on the team, you've got to submit to the coach's strategy and the coach's philosophy of play. I mean, you got to buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, I'll play quarterback for you and I'll wear the uniform. And if you tell me to go left, I'll go left. If you tell me to go right, I'll go right. But I don't really submit to that. I don't really, I'm not buying into it. I'll do just what you tell me. And if you bench me, you bench me. I mean, it's an attitude.
Yes.
I think maybe that's not a great example, but I thought submitting,
I think it's good. Yeah, because we've known people like that.
Right.
You know, coaches talk about people that this guy is great. He's got all the talent in the world, but his attitude stinks. He crosses all the T's and dots all the I's, but he's not a team player.
Right.
He's not there to help the whole team succeed. You got this guy over here who can't even tie his shoes, but he's a team player, man. And I'll tell you what, you can depend on him. Yeah, so it isn't always about talent.
Right.
It's more about, can you follow directions? I think a lot of times it's traumatic to come to a place where you realize that you need to do more than surrender. So that you need to actually pick up your big boy panties and get moving. I talked to a gentleman yesterday who called me, a dear friend of mine. He's in trouble. And he's living in a metropolitan, you know, a very large city that is filled with addicts and alcoholics that are just overrunning the city. He's there. I won't say he's stuck there. I will use that term that he stopped there.
Right.
And he's talking to me, you know, and he's telling me all of his woes and financial stuff. He's weaving financial his lack of finances in there. You know, I'm hearing it loud and clear, but he's being very tactful about it. And so anyway, I stopped him. I said, all right, buddy. I said, listen, I'm going to stop you. First of all, I'm going to tell you something right up front. I'm not sending you any money. He goes, oh. I go, let's just get that out of the way right now. I'm not sending you any money. And he goes, okay. I said, here's the other part. You need to sit down. Do you got a piece of paper? He goes, yeah. I go, you got a pen or pencil? Yeah. I want you to sit down. I want you to write a list on the left side of the paper of all the things that you're talking to me about today. These are all the can'ts. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Go ahead and write them down. Get them out of your system. Don't try to overthink it. Just if you think you can't, just write it down, whether you can or not. Just write it down. I can't get money for the bus. I can't get a job. I can't, whatever. Okay. So when you get done with that, I want you to go over on the right side of the paper, and I want you to be honest, and I want you to write down what you can do. And then I gave him the example of when I got sick and tired of not being able to get around anywhere other than with a wheelchair everywhere. I had a scooter thingy that I would ride around when I worked at Teen Challenge, because I couldn't go the whole day with just my cane and walk the property. And so I finally came to the decision that, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Can I drop 80 pounds? I hate the idea. It's going to take work, but I can do that. So I wrote it down. So I said, hey, buddy, write it down. What can you do? And I want you to write that. And I want you just to rip up the left side and just focus on this side. And then you got to do it. You got to pull up your diaper and do it. Because all this other stuff is just a bunch of BS. And I'm calling you out. And he started to tear up. And he goes, I trust you with my heart. And I go, well, I appreciate that, but you need to trust God.
Right,
You know?
right.
And then you just need to, he goes, no one's ever spoke to me like that. And I go, that's because they're trying to pat you on the bottom. I'm not going to do that. Do what you can do. Well, I've got so many things. I go, that's all right. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a room full of donkey poop and you need to clean it up. You take a shovel and you start in one corner.
Right.
That's
If you're
what you do.
here and you have to get to California and it's 28,000 miles, how do I go that long distance? One step at a time.
One step at a time. One step at a time. And then before you know it, you're like, whoa. And I said, and you know, we talk about evidence-based. You have evidence-based in fact. I told him, because you've been there. You've done this before. You know what to do. You know exactly. When you picked up that phone and you called me, you already knew the answer. And that's the submission part.
So
How many? Yeah. Go ahead.
I searched again, and I'd seen this too. Submit versus surrender. When you take away the Christian or the God part, and just the two words, what they mean in a general context. And submission, it's not a whole lot to says. It's the act of yielding to a superior force, authority, or rules, yielding to them, often voluntary and with a sense of respect or duty. So you buy in.
You have a buy-in. Yeah.
Proactive, involves conscious compliance. All right. And surrender, in contrast, implies giving up control or power, often after resistance or in the face of a stronger force. It's passive in nature. It emphasizes the cessation of struggle, acceptance of circumstances. It is often associated with humility, defeat, or trust, and often involves complete relinquishment of personal control.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing. It really is. They are different things, Monty.
The Greek word, going back to the biblical account, because a lot of people don't like this submission thing, especially the women folk. You know, I'm not submitting to no guy. You know, where you know when it says wives submit to your husbands, husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church. The word submit there, the Greek word for that, is to fall under the protective covering of something.
Right.
It's not this heavy-handed, you will do what I tell you to do. No, it's not. It's actually protection. You know, and so oftentimes, like we were talking about the military thing, in war, when the enemy surrendered, and then they submitted, and they became wards of the other side, and the other side took care of them. There's history about how we have a lot of ugly history. Yes, we do. But there's also history about how the enemy was treated fairly and actually with a lot more respect than their own people.
Yeah, right.
They fell under the submission of, and they were protected, and they were safe from harm. They were kept away. They were at the MASH unit. They were kept away from the front lines, all that kind of stuff. So it has a negative connotation because we've kind of put that on it, but it really is a very positive thing.
Very positive.
Yeah.
I mean, every day in my levels of submission, my renewing of it, my conscious movement toward it, my conscious each day almost reaffirming to the submission by saying, I believe in your authority. I believe in this. Lord, help me to see it even greater. I don't see it as a daily surrender. That's just Tom talking, guys. I see it as a daily reaffirmation of my submission. Yes, it's something I affirm every day. It's something I work on. It's something I recognize. I'm going to be honest and unselfish and pure and loving today. I'm agreeing with that authority that those things will be good in my life, right? But I don't feel like I surrender every morning. That whole thing, you got to surrender every morning. It's just Tom again.
I'm with you.
I'm not gonna.
I'm with you. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna die on that hill of that. But I just don't use those. That it just means to me that I got defeated. I did already surrendered. I don't need to surrender again. It's like doing a 4th step again. I don't have to do another 4th step. I'm doing a 10th step.
The Apostle Paul talks about how he dies to himself daily, and I think that goes into the application of steps 10 and 11.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I think it's an attitude. It's not like, oh my gosh, no. He says, I wake up in the morning. He says, I take off the old, right, and then what does he say? I put on the new. That's the submission I put on, because you can die to yourself every day, but how are you going to live? And Paul says, now I live, right, for him. I put on the new. I got to do it on a daily basis. So I think if we focus on the new every day, instead of beating ourselves up on, because when we take that inventory, that step 10 inventory, and we're, okay, where was I selfish? Where was I self-centered?
yeah.
And we look at that, our tendency is to go, I just can't, I should do it again. There, I did it again. No. That's not the reason for the inventory. The reason for the inventory is so you can make room for the new.
Right.
You got to make room for the new. You're not just throwing out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. You're making room for the new. And I think we lose that. And so it's like, oh gosh, here we go again. I think submitting, I think like you say, you surrender once and then you submit. There's so much freedom in that. There's so much freedom in following under the protection of something and not your own genius.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a different way of looking at these two words. Listeners, what are your ideas? Send us an email. Monty at CaneToBelieveRecovery.org. We'd love to hear from you about, what do you think about surrender? Is it hard for you to give up? Are you giving up? Do you feel like giving up? That might be the best feeling you've had all day.
I know. I almost, outside of the military war context or criminal context, would say that surrender doesn't even apply. Surrender is, I give up. I've been defeated. I'm surrendering. I'm stopping fighting. Everything else is submission. And in addiction, I think I could even make a case that we don't actually surrender. We submit. Because we've decided there's a better way. And we're going to go with it. Maybe.
Or maybe we're talking semantics. I don't know.
Maybe it's a little semantic. But when
But-
you're fighting a
I'm
war,
with you.
I mean, just think about it. If you're fighting and the defeat's on and you're going to get killed and your back's against the wall and you guys ran out of ammo and you don't want to get shot, do you drop your weapons and submit? I don't know. Maybe. Right. There's a semantical element. Somebody might say, yeah, we just submitted to their request to stop fighting. Right. I don't know.
I'm
But-
just thinking, if all you're doing is surrendering, you're sitting in the enemy's tent with a white flag, and you're just sitting there waving it.
Well, that's it.
I'm just waving the flag.
We
Hey,
may be
you
overthinking
Got
it,
something to
folks.
eat? Nope, nope. I'm busy surrendering.
We may
But
be
you're already
overthinking it.
surrendered.
Right.
Nobody
You
else
already-
is doing it.
You surrendered already. You're in our camp. You don't have to surrender again. Oh, that's a good one. You already
Yeah.
surrendered. You're in chains. Now we want you to submit and be good,
Yeah.
right? Follow our rules. Da da da. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Even in the military, it's not surrender is a single one-time thing.
Right.
Folks, we may have actually solved something today.
We may have
We don't usually.
put down the flag,
Put down the flag. Or
surrender the flag.
Yeah, swing it once. I surrendered. I do believe it was more like a surrender when I finally gave up. But then I immediately submitted. And it's been that ever since. An agreement with the way of life, a honest effort to live that way, not perfect.
Mm.
I continue levels of submission and I do my 10, 11 right. Just let the new stuff in. That's what I'm doing.
You know the song, the song I'm thinking of is "I Surrender All."
You know?
So once you
Yeah.
do that, there's nothing left to surrender. Now it's time to submit. If you've surrendered it all, what? Just,
Yeah, we've solved it.
what else you got?
Yeah, I think we solved it. You surrender and then you submit. I don't know, listeners. If we'd make an absolute statement, you'll skewer us, I'm sure. Somebody's going to say, you got to do the surrender every day or else you don't have humility. And alcohol is such a strong power. We
Yeah,
must surrender every morning. All of that. Well, I would say, if you got to surrender every morning, you are not recovered. Right? You're living in the problem. I don't know.
Are you suggesting that we can wake up with joy in our hearts?
Oh, gosh, forbid.
Even if we don't feel like it, we can have it
Yeah.
because it's the joy of the
Right.
Lord that's our strength, not ours.
Even
right?
if our lives aren't perfect.
I have recently been practicing as soon as my eyes open. This may sound corny to some people. I say, "Good morning, Lord." I don't know. I like it. Makes me feel good. I just start it that way. I've been doing that lately.
And Monty, I'll go back to, because you made us, when we get up in the morning thing, you and I had this conversation about getting stuck in our phones.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Oh,
And,
that's
you know,
right.
our we had one of our ideas was to buy a clock
Right.
that had a radio in it so that you didn't have to look at your phone, because we were saying, well, we have to have our phones because that's where our alarm is and our clock is. Da, da, da. Well, you know, I thought a little bit about it. You're right. We were right. That is a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other way to do it is to trust God and just believe the process and not open the stupid Facebook. Can I just not open the Facebook?
If you want to look at the clock, look at the clock. But
Yeah,
then
on the
that's
phone,
it.
and just not hit it. It's right there. It's like it's addiction. I mean, you can be and when you're in a rehab place, locked in a center, you can't drink because there's no alcohol. That's easy. What are you
Right.
gonna do when you come out? So
You made a good point. So why buy a clock when the problem isn't that you're
It's
trying
not
to
the
solve
clock.
problem? It's not
the
the
symptom, right?
Clock?
So I said the first thing I punch on that phone is the Bible app. Just me, guys.
Good.
And I start reading that. And then I read my book. And then I do, but it's the Bible app actually on my phone. And then I can go in and go into the whole chapter. And I can, then when I'm inspired, I hit messages and I forward it to my spiritual friends and have a little thing. There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's the beauty of these devices, that you can share wisdom and strength. So that's been and I will say to you, my distraction has dropped 80%.
Wow.
So now the distraction, if there's anything, it's the newspaper. So at the end, instead of
Still get a
Facebook,
newspaper?
it's the newspaper app.
Oh, the newspaper app.
So I'll do it
Okay.
up. So that's the thing I'll go to, which I sell myself. Well, this is the news. I'm getting wisdom. I'm reading some articles. It's not Facebook. Who knows, right?
Right.
So 80%, I've gotten better. So there's
Well,
a
good.
telling on myself. I practice what we preach. The clock was just a symptom. It was not going to be the real problem. Was Tom, you need to stop doing that. That's all.
Yeah. So how much would a new clock have cost you? What, $25?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Mm.
So what'd you do with that?
Well, I love that question because I could say maybe I should donate that somewhere. Maybe I should do something with it. Yeah, good point.
Add it to your Starbucks
Good point.
account.
And then buy a Starbucks for you.
There you
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Yeah. So that's what I love. You know, when Marcy really doesn't say this, but I'll put it on her just for the heck of it. When your wife says, or when Marcia says, "Hey, I was at the store today and I found this dress and it was on sale. I saved $60." I'm going, okay. Give me the $60. What? Where's the $60 you saved? What? You didn't save $60. You spent $80.
Yeah. I love that.
You know what I mean?
You didn't
It's
save
just like-
anything. You spent less.
And guys do it too. We
Yeah.
do it too. Hey, I saved $40 on that. Oh, where's the $40?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, we're out of time.
Yeah. Good one today again.
Okie dokie. All right, this closing song is sent in. It was sent in by Anonymous. I have no idea who this is. It's called "I Keep Going." So I figured, you feel like giving up. All right, you surrendered. Now you're submitting, so now you can keep going. And we'll listen to that, and I'll come back with a few closing thoughts. Here's Anonymous with "I Keep Going."
Some days I wake up tired before the day begins, carrying the weight of everything I've been. I've broken open, I've learned how deep I feel, but I'm still standing here and that tells me something real. I don't need the road to be easy, I don't need it clear tonight. I just need one more step forward, one more breath, one more try. I keep going, even when the night feels long. I keep going, when I'm not sure I belong. I don't have to have it figured out, I don't have to feel strong. I'm still moving, still becoming. I keep going. I've learned that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, just don't stop now, not before. I've walked through doubt, I've stayed when it hurt. I didn't disappear, I stayed and did the work. I don't need to outrun my fear, I don't need to prove my name.
There are moments when quitting feels like the only option left, when the weight of everything seems heavier than you can carry. But feelings aren't final, and they don't get to decide your outcome. The very fact that you're still here, still thinking, still searching for something better means there's more in you than the struggle is telling you. Progress doesn't always look like big victories. Sometimes it's just choosing not to give up today. And that choice matters more than you think. Listen, you don't have to have everything figured out right now. Just take the next small step, even if it feels insignificant. Strength isn't about never feeling tired or discouraged. It's about continuing despite it. What you're facing right now is part of your story, not the end of it. Hold on a little longer. Keep moving forward in whatever way you can, and trust that even slow steps still lead you out of the dark. It's something to think about.
Came to Believe Recovery strives to create and promote opportunities for life-changing spiritual experiences for individuals and families suffering from all forms of addiction. For more information, help, and support, visit cametobelieverecovery.org. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be your host on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. And I would encourage you to like, bookmark, and subscribe to this show. When you do, you will join the Take 12 Recovery Radio family and will be notified of all of our recovery-focused shows throughout the week. Until our next broadcast, when we provide the essential spiritual tools needed to thrive by sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope through our stories of how we came to believe.
This has been a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio.
Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow.
Woof, woof.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.